Hi students, we are going to do this last section here in a couple of parts. I'm not going to play this video that I've created because I've attached a rendered copy in Google Classroom for you to view. It's a scene with ocean and waves flowing, and there's some clouds and a starry sky behind, and this is an end product of a workflow that we are about to do where we take some footage of an ocean, an image of the Milky Way galaxy, and do some compositing. So let's get started here. I have my finished product in here, Ocean and Ocean 2. So we are going to recreate this now, and it is composed of 3 different layers. So let's begin. So generally, we can ignore these 2 compositions because these are the finished products, and we want to import our footage. I'm not going to actually do it because I already did, but you're going to import, file, and then you can find the ocean folder in our V drive resources. And when you go to import it, you're going to click the first frame and make sure that PNG sequence is checked off, and that's going to bring in all of the frames from this segment. I'm going to cancel because I already have it. Likewise, you can do a second import and you can bring in the Milky Way image, which is called Milky Way 3, and it'll be in the same area on the V drive. Oops, cancel. Okay, so here's our stuff. Now, these are my 2 compositions that I created for the project before, but one of the things that's a quick and easy shortcut in After Effects when you want to create a composition that matches the footage you already have, you can actually grab the footage and you can actually drop it on the composition icon and it will create a fresh comp. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to rename it Ocean Lesson so that we can have that there. Okay, so what do we have? Well, we have our footage in our timeline, and we can see that since I pulled this from YouTube, there is a little bit of footage at the beginning that has that play bar in it, so we can actually just drag our little footage to the left there, and it will be gone. Now, if we look, now that we've done that, there is empty time at the end. So when we drag our time slider around, we can hold the shift key to snap it to the end, and likewise we can hold the shift key and drag to bring this little tab over. And then we can right click in the gray and say trim comp to work area. So basically what we did there is tell the computer, well, we want our footage to end right here, we want our composition to end where the footage has ended, and now our composition is the same length as the footage. Remember, all of this is because we chopped the beginning off. Alright, so what next? We are going to bring in our image layer. So we're going to just drag that in and drop it. And once again, abiding the rules of layers, that Milky Way image is on top of our ocean footage at the moment, so that's why we see it over top. I'm actually going to drag it behind, and I'm also going to hide it because I don't need it yet. Okay, so we have a few things that we're going to do here. First thing is, since this footage is in widescreen, we kind of have some empty space down here. So I'm actually going to move our footage down so that we don't have this black space. So in order to do that, we will click our little arrows to find our transform tools, open our transform tools, and we can just drag our Y value until the edge of our footage meets the bottom of our frame, just like that. Easy. And close that back up. So now the next thing that I need to do if I want this to look like our cool wacky environment here is to get rid of our sky, and there are many ways to do it, but for the purposes of this tutorial we're going to use what's called a mask, and a mask is a shape that you can apply to a layer that will get rid of stuff you don't want, to put it simply. So we have our stuff here. I'm going to close up that, and we go up to layer and we go to make a new mask, but uh-oh, it's gray, And chances are this might happen to some of you while doing this tutorial. So the reason for that is because our footage is not selected. So we need to make sure that we tell the computer what layer that we're actually going to be masking, and then we can go to new mask, new mask. Okay. So here is a little box around our footage. It doesn't look like it did much of anything. This is where we got to be kind of careful. We want to double click. Oops. See, I just did it. Not a quick double click, a slow double click will give us the adjustment boxes. We can actually just click and drag down and watch as we bring the shape of that rectangle down. We are in effect masking out anything that's not within this rectangle shape. And you can make masks that are all different shapes. You can make rectangles, you can make circles, you can draw a custom path with our pen tool. So the mask is a very powerful thing within After Effects. Now, one thing you might notice here is that our horizon is a little bit slanted, so I'm actually going to rotate our mask just a tiny bit, just like that. Okay, so what else can we do? Well, one thing to improve the realism and the blending between our starry background and our ocean here is to do a feather on our mask. So notice now that we've added our mask, we have the transform tools like before, and then we have the masks listed as well. So we can see we have this parameter here called mask feather. And you notice that as we increase the value of the feather, we get kind of a blurring along the edge here, which is exactly what we're going to want. However, on the edges here, we don't want that. So what we can do is we can actually just do that slow double click, and we can expand our mask out to either side so that the sides and the bottom of our footage are not affected, and that's it. Okay. Now we do want the clouds in our scene. So what we're actually going to do as well is we are going to click on our ocean footage. We're going to do a Control D. We're going to hide the original one. And then what we're going to do is we're actually just going to move our mask up so that we are actually masking out the ocean and not the clouds. Just like that. Alright, so that's it for this tutorial. We have arranged our 3 layers, our starry background, our flowing ocean, and our cloudy sky, and we have used rectangular mask with a feathered edge to kind of set the stage for some of that blending that we're going to do a little bit later. And in the next set of tutorials, we're actually going to adjust the sky and the ocean so that they look like they should for a nighttime scene and start bringing in the starry background. So, see you in a moment.